hear me? I haven't turned my mic on. Okay. Now my mic is on. Sorry about that. Always some little technical thing. Okay. So if you can go ahead and type in the comments if you can hear me. I'd love to get that feedback, and also where you're tuning in from. So let me just go forward with introducing myself and the things that we're going to talk about today. So I'm Christina Sergun Powers. Many of you know me, and some of you are new viewers and don't know me. I'm a certified clinical Ayurvedic specialist, formerly a career educator over 20 years. So I bring that and the wisdom and experience that I have from my clinical Ayurvedic practice and studies. And I bring that into what I do right now, where I work one-on-one with clients, and I work in facilitate group programs as well. So a little bit just about me, if you're new to this channel, new to coming into my live experiences. My journey through healing, it began, well, it's a lifelong journey. That's the way we look at it in Ayurveda. But most recently, the big shift for me began in 2018 when I was diagnosed with diverticulitis and IBS symptoms. And this brought me to the path of discovering how Ayurveda would heal. It was dramatic, exponentially changed my life, my health, and my career path. And so that's presently what I bring to the table in talking about Ayurveda and discussing it as that personal experience. So I work currently, as I started mentioning, one-on-one with clients and groups. My clients come to me from a multitude of symptoms to alleviate, eradicate these symptoms. And some of them include or are typical of IBS, of course, diverticulitis, celiacs, insomnia, which are related to other symptoms, inflammation diseases, symptoms, weight gain, or weight loss, the struggle with the ability to maintain and gain weight, hormonal imbalances due to perimenopause and menopause-related symptoms. And those are just some of the things I work with that seem to be, several clients in those categories. And then there are some clients who have unique symptoms and disease circumstances that I work with. And so that's just a little bit of background on me as I approach presenting to you this group Ayurvedic cleanse process. And today specifically, I've been coming live for the last, I think this is the third or fourth session, and talking about what the cleanse is, what the process is. Today, I'm specifically going to talk about how it alleviates and clears the toxins in our nervous system. Because when everybody thinks, most people, I shouldn't say everybody, but when most people think about cleanses, they think about how it's working with the body. And in Ayurveda, we don't really separate mind and body. They are interrelated. And so as you are going through a cleansing process, it's not just the body, the digestive system functions that's going to be cleansed from the toxic buildup, it's the mind. And so I want to specifically talk about symptoms that we might be experiencing in the mind that give us the indicator that we definitely have toxins. Because I often work with clients who are in the health and nutrition field, who are in the fitness field, and they are very good about having a regimented fitness program, very good about having nutrition and diet program, but there still is toxic buildup. But toxic buildup isn't just from what we eat. It's how we eat and it's how we experience our life. And so the toxic buildup may be showing up in the nervous system, where they might not have the body imbalances that are showing up in digestion or sleep disrupted patterns, but the buildup is showing up in the forms of the mind. And so let me just give a reminder. Let's see, what are some of the things we might be looking at if it's showing up in the mind? Well, we might specifically right now, because we're moving into the warmer season, what we call the Pitta season. We've had a heat buildup from the spring and the winter season. And so the way that will express itself in the mind is this intensity, this inability to pull back, even when we know if something is going on, we have to take care of ourselves, but we are so intense that we cannot kind of pull back and give it a rest. And that's one indicator. Frustration, and not just frustration where it's, you have something that's built up and it's a frustrating experience. We all have frustration, but frustration on very small, minor daily things. And this is a repeated pattern throughout the day. You're just feeling frustrated throughout the day. It could be anger. And again, small things that really kind of push our anger, and it's hard for us to move out of that feeling. Other things that might be showing up are so that could possibly disrupt the sleep pattern, where the sleep, as we wake up in the middle of the night, suddenly we're thinking and planning about the next day in the middle of the night. And then and those are typically what we call pitta imbalances. And what can show up if we have vata imbalances is constant worry about everything, showing up in the form of overwhelm, and easily overwhelmed. So I'm not just talking about in the sense where there are things going on and we have a lot of projects we're working on, and for a moment we have that overwhelmed feeling. But when it's a constant state of overwhelm to the point of not being able to go on to the next task that we need to complete it, and feeling like a lack of completion, and that just suddenly becomes the overwhelming theme in our daily lives. Also mind lethargy, where we just feel normally, we feel like we have very clear thoughts, we're able to move throughout our day, but having that feeling of dullness in the mind, and that's more of a kapha imbalance. And so those things, we sometimes will say, what's wrong with me? I don't know why I can't think clearly, or why I'm too intense, or why I'm constantly frustrated, or why my sleep is disrupted. And it's a sign of oftentimes toxic buildup that's not just showing up in the body, but it's starting to show up in the mind as well. And so these types of deep cleanses work with those toxic buildups that are showing up in the nervous system. So let me talk about just specifically this cleanse. So in Ayurveda, I've mentioned before in the other lives, it's called Panchakarma. So it's 5 action cleanses. And the one we're specifically talking about for summer action is what we call Virechana. Virechana is the English phonetic way of spelling it. It's a Sanskrit term. So it's a therapeutic purgation treatment, and it cleanses the body and the mind and through the bowel system. And so specifically what I want to kind of talk about today, I'm kind of looking through my notes, a little bit of mental buildup here. So when we talk about the nervous system and related to the vata doshas, there's a lot of movement. When there's been a lot of movement, let's say movement in our life, changes in where we live, changes in the career, lots of family changes going on, that creates a lot of movement in the mind. And that communication system can kind of get built up. So our nervous system is communicating. And when there's too much movement, it's kind of like this erratic bouncing off it back and forth. So there's just a lot of just too much thought going on. And that's what can create that worry, overwhelm, anxiety loop. In the pitta dosha, it influences the metabolism. And so we have this very clear cleansing part of the metabolism. That's the heat of our body. And we say that's the heat of the pitta, is what really generates that metabolism and transformation and change that happens, and in processing the mental and emotional clarity. And we all of the doshas. So when I say, someone has more primary pitta, there is also vata kapha. It's a part of who we are. It's just that's the primary driver. And with vata, that could be the primary driver. They have a primary condition where they have tendency to be easily overwhelmed a little bit, and they move more, and the mind is more bouncing off ideas left and right, and it's a little bit hard to grab a hold of one thing and continue with that idea. And the kapha, that's the primary driver, the tendency is to be a little bit more lethargic in the mind. The mind kind of feels a little bit duller. And so the impact of the toxins as they accumulate And they can have various neurological and psychological disorders if it's been accumulated over many, many years and there hasn't been a clearing cleansing process. Some of the symptoms can include, like I said, that intensity, difficult to pull away, frustration over minor circumstances, not, frustrations that we commonly experience in our lives, in our career, but just minor, maybe something, you lost a pen and it becomes a very, something that's triggering and pointing to high frustration. Resentment, can't let something go. And again, insomnia, that overwhelm, fear, worry about everything seems to be popping up, and it just seems to be like overloaded. So what are the benefits when we do a deep cleanse like this? So Varechana, it primarily balances Pitta dosha. So this is the season where that intensity, that frustration, resentment, those anger feelings are really bubbling up because of the movement into the season. And oftentimes the time of life, if we're in the middle of building our careers and our family, that's what we call the Pitta season of life. And so there's a lot of frustrations that can build around our career, a lot of frustrations around building family and bringing in new family members as we're growing our family. That's the Pitta time of life. So it helps regulate. Having a deep cleanse regulates these emotions. It reduces that irritability, and it improves our mental clarity. And supporting the Vata dosha ensures that we have that proper elimination, preventing this accumulation of toxins that could cause the nervous system disturbances. And that's how those two really work together. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about why it's so important that we have this ability for our body to absorb. And that's really where the toxic buildup happens, is if in the large intestine and in the digestive process, the end of the digestion process, if our body isn't absorbing the nutrients, even if we're eating these superfoods and high levels of the best organic foods, if it can't absorb into the system, it's just building toxins in the system. So by removing these toxins from this Varechana process, we load the nervous system, and we load the nervous system and allow it to function more efficiently. So we reduce buildup to the nerve. The detox process, it can lead to improved cognitive function, better mood regulation, enhanced overall mental clarity. And so let's talk a little more specifically what I was mentioning before about the absorption process. So a healthy digestive system, it's crucial for the production of the neurotransmitters that build the nervous system. This Varechana process, it promotes better digestion and absorption of those nutrients, which are essential for maintaining that healthy nervous system. So again, in the large intestine, that's where this breakdown can be, of not being able to absorb the nutrients. And this cleansing, this cleanse process, it's not just a cleansing, but it's a nourishing at the same time, because that's where the breakdown has been. And again, not to disqualify any type of cleansing. Like I've mentioned before, during the summer season, the spring season, that's the best time for the juice cleansing. And I've done many of those over the span of my life. But sometimes a particular body system, it doesn't have an absorption. It's not absorbing the nutrients. And so a juicing cleanse in particular is continuing to have those toxins build up. And what the reason is because it has a cooling effect on the system, and it has a drying effect on the system. And so although it's seemingly cleaning out what might be in the digestive process, it isn't the nutrients aren't being absorbed. It's drying out the tissues even more. And that's not with every particular body, but a particular body that has a tendency toward heat and dryness, doing the continual juicing cleanses is exacerbating that condition. And so what's a little bit different in the Ayurvedic cleanse is it's a nourishing process at the same time, so that the body is able to reset and able to begin its own functions of absorbing the nutrients, and so that we don't get the toxic buildup, which is what cleanses are for. And again, Ayurveda promotes seasonal cleansing. It's not like we will never have toxic buildup again. It's the nature of how this body is functioning. And we have to pay attention to daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, seasonal maintenance to make sure it's operating at its best so that we feel our best. We feel strong, we feel healthy, we feel vital, we feel creative. Okay, let me just check here. Any comments that I may have missed? Please go ahead and type in your questions and comments, and I love to answer them immediately. And if not, if you're watching the replay, please go ahead and type the question or comment. I read all of the comments, and I'm able to respond to everyone. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is, again, just to emphasize the cleansing process in the nervous system tissue. It leads to this deep, relaxed mental calmness, reducing our stress, reducing our anxiety levels. We want to have, while we're doing the cleanse, we want to have a calm environment in our lives to prepare for the process of reducing the amount of media that we're exposed to, reducing the stress activities that cause high stress in our lives. So kind of getting ourselves in a preparation for that, to have more calm, because we want to bring that calm in during this time. So typically in Ayurveda, people will experience this type of deep cleanse process in a spa or a retreat. It's ideal. It's also very costly. And so, although this program that I'm promoting and that I'm facilitating this summer, it's not a do-it-yourself program, and it's not a one-on-one program. I do work with clients one-on-one in this way too, but you'll be getting guidance. I'll be teaching you. You'll have a nurturing environment, supportive group setting, and you'll get the benefits of being at your own home environment. So you will have that together with the nurturing environment, the learning environment, and if you can create that calm, peaceful space in your home during this time. If you want to learn more about it, I'm going to be talking live in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, with one of my clients. And she just went through a session with me in the spring of doing a full cleanse, a full deep cleanse like we're talking about here. This was a one-on-one situation, but she's going to talk about how she experienced it and some of the things that may have come up for her and helped her move through that, and what the benefits were. So they'll be going live. I'll be talking with her at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and across the pond, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It'll be right here on my YouTube channel live streaming, and then I think I will be able to put I'll be able to post information about that if you're seeing me on Facebook group, so you can connect through that replay. All right, so just to give you the final details of the group program, it begins July 13. There'll be 5 sessions. It'll be every Saturday. We'll meet live in my Zoom room from 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 12 noon. All sessions are recorded, so if you can't make a session, you do have every one of the sessions will be available to you. The price includes the materials, so 2 formulas, some oils, and supplies for the cleanse. Early registration is going on now, so that's $535 for early registration. The regular price is $635 after the early bird registration ends July 1st. The bonus, if you sign up with now during early registration, you get 30 minutes free consultation with me. There's a maximum group of 20, so this will fill up. I'm collaborating with a group that has 3 yoga studios in San Francisco. They're the ones that asked me to facilitate this. And as I come to you here, I'm talking with my people, my audience, and hoping to include you in this. If you still have any questions about anything I've talked about today, or if you happen to see this on the replay, send me a direct message, send me an email, write a comment. I respond to everything that's posted here. My email is info@yogaforbalance.online. So info, I-N-F-O, at yoga4, F-O-R, balance.online. All right, that's it for today. I hope this was valuable, useful to help you on your healing journey today. I wish you to find joy, and even in the most uncomfortable moments, spaces, and places of your life. So wishing you happiness, health, and wholeness. I'll see you soon.